he came in and he's just looking really shocked. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's on the phone and he's just like, Garrison has passed. And I'm like, and he says it to me and I'm like, what?
Hey friends, it's Harry from Sister Wives Unmasked. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a peaceful day, even as we dive into a heavy topic today. Let's talk about Robyn Brown, a woman who for the past 15 seasons, or should I say 15 years, has shed tears over just about everything. She's cried over how special it is to be a sister wife, over the so-called unique bond they all share, over Mary leaving the family, and even over the time she kissed Kody before they were married, because that supposedly hurt Christine. She's cried on cue, sobbed theatrically, had full-blown emotional meltdowns on camera. But when Garrison passed away, nothing. No real emotion. No visible grief. Robyn, who can usually turn on the waterworks at the drop of a hat, suddenly couldn't even pretend to be sad. She tried, but it just didn't land. When she was asked about how she found out about Garrison's death, she didn't speak about her own feelings. No, she shifted everything to Kody. How she had to be there for him. How she needed to help him process it. It was all about Kody. Not once did it feel like Robyn truly cared about Garrison. And why would she? She never liked him. Garrison spent years calling out what was really going on in that family. He spoke the truth. He saw the manipulation, the unequal division of money and time. He saw his dad pouring everything, time, money, attention, into Robyn, while the rest of the family was left with scraps. Garrison recognized that Robyn played the victim, that she made herself out to be the wounded one and accused Kody's other children of being the source of her trauma. And because Garrison wasn't afraid to speak up, Robyn resented him for it. In the aftermath of Garrison's passing, it wasn't Kody or Robyn who handled the difficult, heartbreaking details. It was Kody's sons. The very boys he had pushed away and shunned were the ones left to manage everything surrounding Garrison's death. Kody and Robyn didn't have a clue what Garrison had been going through. They were completely out of touch because they weren't talking to him. They had cut him out. When Robyn finally spoke about what happened, you could see it clear as day. She wasn't grieving. She was trying to grieve. She said, "I'm trying to process it. I can't really process it," as if that explained her lack of emotion. You could almost see her straining to squeeze out a tear, but nothing came. And then she added, "And then he fell apart," talking about Kody, not she, he. Contrast that with Christine, who described literally falling to the floor, sobbing. Or Janelle, who shared how she broke down in tears while rushing to the scene, even knowing she was already too late. These women felt the loss. Robyn? She described it like a distant event, like she was watching someone else experience it. She said, "Rob and I didn't get a chance to really make things right. Just not being able to say goodbye. I thought there would be more time." It was vague, detached, like she was reading a script. And speaking of scripts, this whole scene, it felt completely staged. Garrison passed away on March 4th. If you remember, there was still snow on the ground in Flagstaff at that time. I've pointed this out before, but in the scene they aired, the grass was green, the weather looked like late spring, April, maybe even May or June. That wasn't what things looked like when he passed. It was filmed later for the show. Now, yes, in that scene, Kody talks about regret. He admits he made mistakes. On camera, that's powerful. It gives the impression that maybe, just maybe, he's learning something. But here's the thing, off camera, nothing has changed. Why? Because Robyn doesn't challenge him to change. She reinforces the idea that he doesn't need to. When Kody says things like, "Rob and I didn't have a chance to make things right with him," he's referring to Garrison as Rob, his real-world name, Robert. The show used Garrison, but to the family, he was Rob. Kody claims he now realizes he needs to change, that he thought he had more time. But Robyn, instead of encouraging him to reconnect with his other children while he still has time, downplays it all. She says, "That's what everyone says. Everyone thinks they have more time." As if to say, it's normal, don't worry about it. And Why would she want Kody to fix those relationships? If Kody reconnects with his other kids, it pulls his time, energy, and resources away from her and her children. It means Kody has to share himself with the rest of the family, and Robyn has never been okay with that. Since Garrison's death, Kody has stayed distant. He doesn't see his kids. He doesn't speak to them. The way he and Robyn behaved at the funeral reportedly caused even more strain. There's talk that their conduct was so upsetting that it created lasting damage. So much so that many of the kids want nothing to do with them now. Now, I've heard rumors, unconfirmed of course, but people are saying that Kody and Robyn may not have even been invited to the National Guard Memorial for Garrison. That they just showed up. I don't know if that's true, but here's what I was told. Garrison's siblings were the ones who had custody of his remains. His urn wasn't handed over to Kody because, legally, he wasn't the next of kin. That role went to someone else. Apparently, Kody and Robyn wanted to film everything for the show, and that caused even more division. That Wyoming ceremony? It wasn't just about honoring Garrison's memory. It was about giving Kody a public stage, a moment, a narrative for the cameras. He wanted to perform his grief, not necessarily feel it. And that flag, the one given to the next of kin at military funerals? Kody didn't get it. That tells you something. If he had to ask one of Garrison's brothers for the urn, that means it wasn't released to him by the coroner or funeral home. That's a major detail. It makes you wonder, was he even listed on Garrison's birth certificate? And yet, despite all this, Robyn still gives him a pass. She still lets him off the hook. She doesn't urge him to step up, to reconnect with the children who are still here. Instead, she allows him to retreat further into the bubble they've built together. It makes you wonder, could something have been done to prevent all of this? It's the what-ifs that linger. They're torturous. The questions of what could have been, they haunt you. And while they hurt, sometimes they help us process the grief. That's just part of how we mourn. It connects us to what we lost, imagining the life that could have been, the moments that will never come. But when Kody and Robyn were having this very staged, very uncomfortable conversation on the show, something really stood out to me. As Kody began to reflect, seriously reflect, on the mistakes he made with Garrison, Robyn laughed. Yes, she laughed. Right as he was talking about his dead son. Kody saying things like, "What if I had done things differently? What if I had made it right?" And she giggles and says, "Well, you're just that kind of person to do the what-ifs." Why would anyone laugh in that moment? Now, I get it. Some people laugh when they're nervous. But this wasn't nervous laughter. This was out of place. It felt like she either didn't grasp the weight of what Kody was saying, or she simply didn't care. And then she adds, thinking about what he could have had. And I couldn't help but wonder, what did she mean by that? What could Garrison have had? A better relationship with his father, if he had apologized to her? Was she still centering herself in this? Through it all, Robyn never speaks about her own grief. Never shares a personal moment or memory about Garrison. It's all about Kody. Always about how he feels. Her concern seems to be more about how Kody's sadness might affect her than about the fact that Garrison is gone. And that's what really gets to me. Because, to me, that kind of emotional detachment, when someone you knew dies, is chilling. Robyn and Kody spent years belittling, shaming, and isolating Garrison. Now, in his absence, they still can't show genuine care. They can't even convincingly pretend. I mean, just listen to that moment when Kody says, "I'm going to go pick up his urn from his brothers." Not her sons. Not my boys. His brothers. It's subtle, but it's intentional. It's a way of distancing himself from the pain and from the responsibility. It's what people do when they can't or won't confront their own role in someone's suffering. They dehumanize. They separate. They make the pain someone else's problem. Ellen, who comes from the AUB, a background close to the Browns, pointed something powerful out when we talked. She said Kody's language is classic distancing behavior, like someone trying to remove themselves from the scene of a crime, not a grieving father, someone who doesn't want to be held accountable. And when Kody said, "I just want to put him in the ground," I got chills. Not, "I want to honor him." Not, "I want to lay him to rest." Just put him in the ground. as if Garrison were an inconvenience to be handled. Out of sight, out of mind. That phrase stuck with me. Because while the rest of the family was thinking about how to honor Garrison, how to memorialize his life and celebrate the man he had become, Kody was focused on control, on taking the urn, on deciding where the final resting place would be. It wasn't about Garrison. It was about reclaiming a sense of power in a situation he had long lost control of. And Robyn? She was right there with him. Let's be clear, Robyn Brown tormented Garrison emotionally from the time he was a child. From the age of 10 until the end. She labeled him a problem. She painted herself as the victim. And when Garrison stood up and called out the dysfunction, she and Kody retaliated by cutting him off, silencing him, treating him like a threat. And Kody was jealous. Jealous of his own son. Because Garrison had the courage to say the truth out loud, even if it hurt. Because Garrison saw through the manipulation. And Kody couldn't handle that. Now Kody wants to bring him home. To a home Garrison was never welcomed in while alive. And this is exactly why his kids are furious. Why they don't talk to him. Why they've cut off Robyn. The damage wasn't just emotional, it was personal, and it was deliberate. This is what narcissistic abuse looks like. This is what it does. So, what are your thoughts on Robyn Brown and how she's handled all of this? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video meaningful, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and click that bell so you never miss a new upload. Thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. See you next time.